Are we on? Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ordinals Are Dead. We're a little bit late, but it's okay because we're fucking dead. We're as dead as the grandma that's buying Bitcoin because of the ETF approval. But we are not as dead as Ethereum NFTs.
No, man.
Holy shit.
Damn.
There are fucking spaces going on about how Ordinals won or how Ordinals sucked cock. But whatever is happening, they're happening, and they're happening on spaces. And I think we won, but we haven't have it all figured out.
Yep.
So we have work to do, and we have a special guest, Sonny, who's
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
he's the DeGod president, and he's here dressed in orange to be, I don't know, the other big guy on the show with Chad. Chad, nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Boo.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. What's up, brother?
What's going
Good
on?
to see you, man.
We're literally sorted by like smallest to biggest.
Yeah. So how's your week been?
Up only here.
We're
Up only?
Up only.
Oh,
Yeah.
We looking like the Bitcoin chart right now.
Sonny, though, how was your week, man? How was your week? Pretty good so far?
Yeah, the week's been pretty good so far. Definitely a lot going on. Obviously, the ETF news yesterday was some of the funniest content that we got on crypto Twitter in a minute.
Yes.
And that was a good time. That was a good time for sure.
Well, I mean, listen, I think, Sonny, speaking of that, we had the Bitcoin ETF approved sort of one day, but then taken back, and then yesterday it was actually officially approved.
It's because the SEC account didn't have two-factor authentication.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, but
them
like
not having two FA is the craziest.
Well, no,
That's a
Clown
wild.
show, man.
okay,
Clown show.
that's many crazy things, but the craziest thing is how quickly I've never seen any account come back and announce like, "Hey, we got scammed.
That's why I'm like,
we
no,
got
they
hacked."
got hacked,
and
bro.
10 minutes later, it's okay, and then trades can happen.
That was so
Man.
suspicious. That
Well,
was so
Vegan
suspicious.
actually called it, though. As soon as that was tweeted, he was like, is this a hack? They didn't even announce it on their website yet. And then, of course, 10 minutes later, they got hacked.
Oh, it's definitely an inside job.
Do you think, though, do you think that the SEC should be abolished?
Yes.
Why?
Because the bureaucracy, it takes too long. It's like we're waiting in line for what kind of bullshit.
Right.
It's ineffective, and also the charges that their charges don't even really go through. The people that they say they're going to go after, they don't even actually follow through with it. Like categorically, maybe there's a few, but there's not on their list of people that they go after. They don't.
Right.
Their promises are empty, just like their fucking heads. And that's my
But
thought
I mean,
about it.
Sonny, do you think we should keep them, though, or no? Like, do you think they should be abolished? Anyone here think no?
Literally the fact that there's probably 10-year-old kids that have 2FA on and the SEC doesn't have it for their Twitter account, I feel like that alone should have them abolished and not be worried about what's going on.
And they're supposed to protect
'Cause that's
investor
crazy.
funds.
Right. How can
They
we
didn't protect investor funds with that tweet, so
They can't even protect
Very
their
good-
own Twitter account.
Very good point. I think also there's over-regulation, which you're scaring people, scaring like small-time investors to build capital or have capital formation, right? So there's
Speaking of capital formation, we had, I think there was in the past, 7 or 8 hours since the ETF was officially approved and trading started, I think like $1.5 billion in volume on the ETFs.
already?
Wow.
Wait, so like all the tickers, like,
Out
did
of
you
all
see
the
the
tickers.
did you see the HODL ticker? That one's so
Yes,
fire.
you have VanEck, right? You had all the tickers, right? I
So
think
if you
1.5 billion.
bought in like on one of those tickers, like you're already fucking up.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying the volume, right?
Oh, okay.
There's $1.5 billion that have gone into these ETFs, right?
So are we priced in, Mr. BitGod?
I don't know. I mean, it obviously wasn't priced in the first hour, right, of today. And then I think we're back to sort of where we were at yesterday, right? We're back to 46 or something like that.
Kids secure their Fortnite accounts better than the SEC.
So how do we feel about it in general? Are we bullish on this? Because a lot of people are saying that, like today I tweeted, if your grandmother's buying Bitcoin right now, it's time to wise up a little
got
bit.
new exit liquidity, boys.
It doesn't
Our
mean
grandma.
it doesn't mean that like in a few weeks or down, we're leading up to the halvening, next year. And it's like, what's going to happen? Because there's a lot of mints going on, especially on Ordinals. And, some people are like transferring their funds to buy this thing. And then and liquidity is like drying up on this previous project. So there's all kinds of stuff going on the Ordinal side of things. But I'm just curious across the board how
Just higher level sort of Bitcoin?
Yeah. How
I think like I've said, I think a couple times on the show, I think it changes everything. I think that you're looking at $10 to $20 trillion worth of sort of assets under management for all of these guys, right? From VanEck to Fidelity to BlackRock, of course, who owns like the central government, or owns the U.S. government at this point. And then you also have now that access of the ETF, 100+ million brokerage accounts across the U.S. And then you can also get Bitcoin exposure in less than like 15 seconds now. Call your broker and you can now get exposure. I think that changes everything. Maybe not in the short term. Maybe it was already priced in. Maybe I was wrong about that. But I think certainly long term, it changes everything.
It doesn't make sense to be priced in though, because this literally allows all the liquidity to come in. And also, I wonder, like, since of its like Bitcoin ETF approval, wouldn't you think that they'd be educating all of their investors? Like, hey, we got this new ETF. This is what Bitcoin is. If you're interested, because we have this now.
I don't think that they do that though. I think what
It's
a
kinda
lot
like
of these
there.
brokers do is basically just this. They get on the phone, and let's just say like private wealth clients, right? Wells Fargo, whatever the fuck. They go, hey, I got my sort of client that's in the top 1%. I'm gonna tell them, hey, this is digital gold. You got to have a little bit of exposure. Just put 1% of your assets into it. They're gonna do it. And it's like literally 15 seconds, right? That's literally what it is. It's not like education. You don't go anything deeper. You just say that, and they're in.
Digital gold? I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I have some friends who were primed up and learned about the crypto, the crypto portion of like the ETF happening, so they could apply for bank jobs that could take that arm of that bank to be able to advise clients like, hey, you might want to get on, you might want to take these this part of your portfolio to expand it into because the ETF is going to be approved. So I think those guys were pretty smart.
That's all it is, though. It's just allocations for these guys, right? Whether it's these sort of like top 1% or the top 1% of hedge funds or whatever it is, they can now just get a little bit of exposure.
Yeah, they get
right?
whitelist allocations.
But of course, like
now.
1% of $1 billion is a lot.
Well, how does this affect Ordinals?
I think that this affects Ordinals in a really unknown way. I think if you are going to have potentially Bitcoin exposure, your next probably interest, if you're like one of those people that do get Bitcoin exposure, is like, can you do anything else on this? Is this just money? And then if you're like, hey, I found out now there's art, and you're in that top 1%, why not start to think about that?
Do you think they even know about Ordinals? Like when the ETF, do you think genuinely? Like I'm actually so genuinely interested. Does the SEC know about Ordinals?
Yo, they probably
I'm
have
getting a
like
bunch of head
sub
nod, like,
1K
I'll give me
inscriptions.
shades.
Gary for sure has been inscribing since like sub
Oh,
1K.
yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I'm
Mr.
saying?
Generative.
You think so?
He got some stuff
I mean,
out there.
I just
He's
don't.
been DJing into it.
I just don't think that people of that caliber that have that much money or control that much money give a fuck about buying art or buying
Oh, they
like
absolutely do.
But I do get what you're saying.
I think
like,
they give a fuck about things that make money. And I think
Yeah.
like in the ordinal space, there is that aspect of like, yeah, it's art, but like with all the lore of the inscriptions and like a digital artifact and that sort of thing, if it's gonna pump their bags, like I saw a funny meme yesterday of someone put like Pelosi and like about how like nobody's trading better than her, and like she called Gary like, yo, take that back for a second. It's just like it's
the
things
truth.
like that where it's like, I mean, if it's gonna print money for them, I think they're gonna do whatever gives them an advantage. You know what I mean?
I mean, Troy, like you know art pretty well. Began knows art.
Okay.
Right? Like you look at some of these guys that are in the top 1%, like they're spending millions and millions of dollars on contemporary art. Like the stuff that we're buying is like nothing to them, right? Like
No,
30 grand for a painting. Like they just spent 30 million on Mozart, or I'm sorry,
fun.
Picasso. Right?
yeah.
So they're definitely into art.
Well,
they just don't know what's there.
Well, with Picasso, you have nearly 100 years of a head start
Yes.
to have credibility to go. That's why you get that,
Totally.
and also maybe some obvious, like wash trading and hiding funds and tax write-offs. And I'm gifting this. It's like I can't sell you this physical pizza slice for $1 million, but I can take a picture of it and sell you that for $1 million, and then we can kind of talk on the back channels on Slack or whatever signal. Excuse me,
Telegram.
I'm not suggesting that this show is a family show.
Nothing on
Back
the show
the
is
fuck
financial
off.
advice.
You know what I will
Yeah.
say though is I think the whole thing that happened yesterday with them like pump faking the announcement and then being like they got hacked and then obviously getting announced today, I think that did more for like the essentially like the marketing of Bitcoin and potentially could lead into ordinals, because everybody loves a good like messy story, and especially when it comes to the government, you have like random normies that are like, oh, what's going on over here? Why did the government get
They
hacked?
fucked up
And like
again?
you know, like they love to just like, it's like gossip, even if it's government gossip.
Yeah.
Gossip is gossip.
Gossip
Like,
is gossip.
Anytime that an arm of power gets clowned without us even trying anything,
Yeah.
and the attention is off of like people getting scammed in the crypto space, is good. It's good for us, and it just shows like, hey, we run our own. We're our own banks. We have our own wallets. Sure, we need some regulation, and we obviously hate the fucking scammers. But it's great that you got clowned. Let us run this shit, or let us work together, because we can all laugh our way to the bank together instead of at each other, you know?
Didn't he make a post too that was like, okay, like sure we approved it, but like we still don't fuck with it. That's basically right. You know what I'm talking about? Like, Gary made a personal post on the SEC site. He was like, yeah, it's approved, but, and then it was a whole lot of yap that like, I didn't want to read. But
in there, of course. But I think you know, talking about everything that's happening on Bitcoin, talking about art, we've of course had some crazy, you know, some generative art over these past couple weeks.
Yes.
Take flight. Yeah. Right. You had Golden Ratio from Hardo and I think Vivid.
That one was crazy.
You had Otto. You know, Otto now has I think 4 or 5 different sort of collections that he's done.
Yes.
Amazing work. You have Meta Blends, right, from
Rabbi Gaines
and others. And yeah, I mean, are you collecting this stuff? Like,
yeah.
Have you been buying it all? Like,
not Golden Ratio. Didn't get lucky enough to that. I mean, there's so much going on.
How
like,
much did people make if they minted Golden Ratio?
Like
point.
What was the mint price?
I think it was close to free, or like $200 to $300.
Then they made like 0.2 Bitcoin.
I was going to say 0.2 Bitcoin.
And congrats to the Bitcoin DeGods, right? They had that in their Discord, right? I think they're.
Did you get that, Sonny?
The community got spots.
I personally did not get one.
Yeah, no,
Sonny, what's up? The president got fucked. What's up, man?
No, the
president needs to eat first.
They ate over there.
They ate though.
They ate. DeGods.
DeGods always eat.
DeGods. That whole
collab. Alpha. Who's in the DeGods cabal to get like all of these sick collabs?
Like Pixel Rainbow. And
I told y'all last time on IRL Alpha, Mickey DeGods is the cabal of DeGods. Like,
Mickey DeGods.
100% they're the cabal.
Did when ZK Shark, he like set up the 21 man team like a couple years ago, but like how much of that has been left, and like is that infrastructure still there? Is it just like new regime, new shit? I don't know anything about it except what ZK told me.
As far as
about back then, the collab team for like DeGods.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's definitely been a lot more revamp lately as far as like people that are the alpha callers, people that are like collabing with different projects to secure these spots. And I think it's a lot of too just like us kind of spreading the responsibility a little bit based off of like where connections are at. Like I'm trying to go out and like secure things for like Bitcoin DeGods or whatever for upcoming mints too, just from a standpoint of like, you know, certain people might get responded to, certain people might not get responded to, that sort of thing. And any way that we can go and kind of like be a part and continue to contribute in these various ecosystems, I think just is bullish for us too, right? It's important to go like participate in these other communities.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, how many what percentage of like DeGod holders or in the Discord are into Gen Art or in art in general? I feel like there's like a batch of smart, because I've been in the spaces and I'm in the D-Utes community thing, and I love Van Gogh, and I just love these people as people. You know, I don't see like an orange shirt and a PFP. I see people, you know what I mean? So I'm just curious, how many of them are like into Gen Art or just, you know, one types of art? Because a lot of that's been, you know, the reason I bring that up is for 2 reasons. One, I want to know. 2, and the people should know that hate on DeGods, or, you know, there's always like fucking bullshit going on. And 2 is that Bitcoin is ripe for artists that are like using generative code to output art, but it's like dancing with the Bitcoin blockchain, which is like beautiful, like, you know, and so that's what I'm liking to see. So I'm just curious, how many people how many holders love art in general in DeGods? Yeah. And
I think it's funny that you asked that, because we actually just did a Spaces on Monday, like a DeGod Spaces that we're trying to do weekly now. And there was a huge segment of that conversation where we were just talking about the latest art that was coming out for DeGods, the season 3.33 art, because they started doing like art previews and that sort of thing on the timeline. And it's so funny, like how many people like legitimately care about their various traits that they have, like the way that it looks, the aesthetic, the digital identity that it provides to them. And I think that's kind of spread in a way of them just enjoying art in these other collections as well. Whether it be one-of-one art, whether it be generative art, like there's been support so much, like obviously starting within the Solana ecosystem, but as we've expanded, like obviously on ETH, People obviously Polygon when Utes was on there, but definitely Bitcoin has been, you know, one of those things when Ordinals first came up, you know, BTC DeGods got in there in March. So it was kind of already such a natural, just like, I don't know. I hate to use this word, but bridge, right?
Yeah.
And
y'all have had enough of those bridges and heard enough of them.
And so,
anyway,
I think it just naturally has made a lot of holders just also really in it for the art, because you have a lot of holders that are in DeGods like for the art as well. It's not just, oh, what rewards do we get, or what utility, or what's Frank cooking, or this or that. It's, part of this is legitimately like, yo, this art is just amazing. We like it, so we keep collecting it.
To stack that, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, no. So I think as we talk about, like, I think a lot of the gen art, it's been really interesting to see. I think some of these artists from ETH, from other chains, try out gen art on Bitcoin. I think it's a whole sort of other beast. There isn't really yet, I think, a engine like like art blocks on ETH. So we're still waiting, I think, for I know there's some artists that are still waiting for like something like that.
I think there is.
With Singular.
Yeah, right? Singular.
And I think he's figured it out. And I'm hoping that we get to see, of course, those results pretty soon.
That's shout out to Proper.
Yeah, shout out to
Proper, shouting you out here, brother. He's been typing. I'm fucking, what am I, in my 90s? He's been tweeting. He's been tweeting. He's been typing on the. He's been tweeting out, you know, in the past couple of days. We talked in DC. We had an IRL meetup. Me, him, and Stripes. My brother joined us, and it was a great thing. We were talking about Singular, and I'm excited about it. And I think that would be the closest thing.
What's the platform going to be about? Just like
gen art. Yeah, just gen art on Bitcoin, right?
I was going to say, like, gen art on Bitcoin is so perfect because in Ordinals, you know how we have like all these different endpoints. So there's a bunch of different data, like the block height or the inscription ID, or like
sat
the
numbers,
sat numbers, sat names, and all of that could be used to like create dynamic gen art on Bitcoin that like are in tune with the blockchain. And to me, that's fantastic. If you could utilize that, like I know Cypher Prints utilize inscription IDs to like generate all of that stuff.
It's about creating stuff that's unique, right? Unique to Bitcoin, because
it is. It's all Bitcoin native.
If you can just do the same thing on ETH, a lot of artists are probably just going to choose ETH. But like you want to expand. You know what you can do that's unique here. Like that's what really matters, I think.
Yeah, there's more of a scarcity in terms of like, let's say, like rare sats, right? That is like this whole year, I think is going to be about that and how much you can sequester. Yeah. Fortunately for some people, they have done that and they've been holding on to their rare sats and uncommons. There's a whole collection that's coming out soon. The first 10K on uncommons, which is like mind blowing. So those 10K.
Are you bullish on that?
I'm bullish on the fact that, like, God, I've never heard of that. That's fucking fantastic. It adds another layer of rarity to an already like. A big collection. I don't know. I'm sensing that you're not.
Oh no, I'm bullish as fuck. I love uncommon sides.
Oh yeah.
I love my unique, because it's like there's only gonna be one first. I think Bitcoin Machines is doing like a 10K collection of uncommon sats. I know there's the uncommoners, which is like you bring your own uncommon sats to inscribe.
That's what I'm talking about, and we do have a sat hunter in the audience. We will not disturb him, but he he's on his phone right now. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I think it's happening in a few days, and I think the artist is the sister of what's his name?
Robert.
It's Robert Clark. It's Robert Clark's project called Commoners, and that's. I mean, you know,
Robert's the one that made gold bars, right? As well as Bitcoin parts.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's a fucking goat.
He is a goat. Robert, how you doing, buddy? So we're looking forward to that. I think it's in a couple of days. So get your uncommons. They're like $500 a piece right now. But yeah, other than that, what about just regular one-of-ones? I mean, because there are people like, like say Tony from OMB. I put out a tweet with his okay because I was right with him at IRL. He was like, he'd rather just like put an end to like generative coding art, not like Hitler. I'm just saying like he got like Hitler. I'm just saying like or Bitler. No, Adolf Bitler. So I would just say that like there's one-of-one art, and OMB is definitely that, and obviously the Bitcoin puppets and how those rolled out. I definitely want to get to that.
Yeah, I think for the sort of Tony side of things, I think Tony is a very particular artist. I love all of his work, especially on on OMB and everything he's done. I think there's just some artists like Tony that just do not like gen art. They don't like sort of computer generated stuff, and that's totally fine, right? I think that there's some computer generated artists that don't like sort of drawing, and it's just a vice versa thing. That's totally fine.
Totally
you can have
fine.
you can have your own medium. I personally really like both sides. Like, I love what Tony's done, as well as, I love what Otto's done. I love what, Golden Ratio's done, or Hardo's done. So, I don't know. I love seeing both on Bitcoin, especially if they're in sort of a unique way that's sort of never been done before. I'm all for sort of pushing art forward. So, yeah, I'm there for that.
I'm just reading some funny comments that the producers are saying to me, and I abide.
But I think
the Troy abides. Go ahead.
I think moving to more art as well. We've had the Bitcoin puppets, which
World
I think,
peace.
Yeah, world peace this past week. It's been hilarious. I know, Sonny, you tried to mint. What the hell happened, man?
Man, I tried to mint. My server crashed. It was just down. It was like, oh, you're in queue for X amount of hours. And
Dude,
then
that queue was crazy. It was like 8 hours.
Yeah,
I
but
was like, what?
the thing is, someone told me that it sold out, so I was like, fuck, maybe I should just not even try anymore. And then, like, I guess, like, for hours on end, people were still getting theirs. I was like, damn, I should have just kept my computer up. Like, but that, to me, that brought back a feeling that I haven't had in, like, years of just, like, minting, right? Because, like, people remember, like OG mints on Solana or even OG mints on ETH, like a lot of them were public, right? And it was just like, go test your luck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right. So for some context here, so last year around March, there was this project drawn by Le Puppeteer. It was called Opium. It stood for, do you have the acronym for this?
I actually don't. Wait, there's an acronym?
It's like Ord Puppet Inu Undoxed Millionaire.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that one.
There you go.
You're actually spot on. You're actually spot on.
So this project was sort of like it was like a sleeper, and I know Swag Toshi, our good friend, who's totally swaggy. The way he dresses, So he spoke on the Ordinal show last night and gave like a 10-15 minute like diatribe on the history of that. So back in March of last year, he saw this project and he started minting it, and it was very like free, and he got into a Discord. If I'm paraphrasing it wrong, it's okay. It's just the way it is. But he was bullish on it, and then as that happened, he was just like bullish on the project these past few months, and then about a month ago, and as it was about to roll out again, or even 2 weeks ago, he had a little bit of bitterness because he's been shouting from the rooftops about this project because it's super funny. When he first saw it, he was rolling on the floor laughing, like really like LMAO, and just going, this is hilarious. Why is nobody minting this? Like, this shit is for free. What is it going to really cost you? It's like literally priceless. So it minted the other day. I was at the airport. I was on a call with you guys, and I'm like, my plane, I couldn't mint. Nobody could, hardly anybody could mint. Somebody botted it, about 4,000 bots. I had to get on the plane, and that was it. Anyway, just to get you up to speed, Swag Toshi has been trickling out tweets in the past week, just like bullish on this project, and he's not pumping the bags of this thing. I mean, even the founder is like saying, the price is going in the wrong direction. So they definitely have.
His tweets are so funny. Dude.
Yeah.
He's
So
like,
what do you guys think about the project in itself? Because I think it's fucking super funny, and it reminds me of the art that like Taproot Wizards was kind of like going to be a little bit, And I was just like, and now it's here, and I bought some. But like, what do you guys think about it?
You just hate to love them, right?
My producer is telling us we need contrarian takes, but like, I love the puppets. I can't be contrarian against the puppets. They're too good.
I think they were one of those projects that really expanded outside of Ordinals, in the sense of like you had a bunch of people excited from other chains and like just excited about whatever project that they had going on, just based off of the art, the vibes, and like the I don't know, just kind of like the memeability of the project itself. So I think that was a good thing.
So art sucks, right? The art on it sucks. This is not for me. This is just like the thing about the universe.
The art is the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life.
The art sucked on it so bad that there were ETH spaces from the biggest influencers that basically said Ordinals suck or Ordinals have won. Yep. And that's from like Leap and Thread Guy. And of course, those are wonderful people. They're friends of ours. But the fact that these spaces across chains lit up literally because of this project, and people were buying it. Like, I'm talking about Farouk, I think, bought some, like right there live on the, not that I give a shit about him.
The entire ETH influencer cabal bought it. I think, no. I think what is an interesting hot take, though, is why did all the ETH influencers choose to, like, pump the puppets?
I don't think they chose to pump them. I think they just, anytime they talk about it, people instantly go, oh, this is a buy. But I think, listen, I think here's the thing is.
Do you think they pumped it though, like with their tweets? I
Yeah,
feel like they
no,
had a
100%.
lot of influence.
I
doing
was
that.
like,
Of course, but I don't think it was
100%.
like coordinated.
100%.
No, it wasn't coordinated. They just like, this is so stupid.
Just
I love it.
the whole cabal.
The thing
liked
is, though,
it.
like we always talk about this, like it becomes the art doesn't really matter as price goes up, right? So like everyone thinks the price sucks for something, and so it's like, oh shit, this is worth 10 grand. I suddenly like the art.
Yeah.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
And that's just like NFT land in general.
Doesn't the art
Yeah.
look so
Okay,
good at a
was
0.034
Puppets
price?
Cope from NodeMonks?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Cope from
I think it
NodeMonks?
was.
Yes.
Because like people who missed out on NodeMonks and these puppets came up, they were kind of hyped. Like servers are crashing on the mint.
It was 100%. I mean, like you had a ton of attention from the NodeMonks, and there wasn't really anything minting after until the puppets, right? Like 3 or 4 days later.
I think
so
it's
all attention was on Bitcoin, but there wasn't any new mints.
I was Kobe.
I think it's cope for NodeMonks, but I also think like people are waiting for Taproot Wizards, and I'm literally like the type of art, the way it's drawn. I'm not saying they look like wizards. I'm talking about the digital art of it, like the drawing, like the past, like the colors of it, the way that it lands on the page. Like people have been waiting for that for over a year, but Taproot Wizards, they're coming out with some cats or something soon with Luke's. But I do like the puppets. I think who knows what's going to happen with them, but how is the community changing? I mean, does this replace Taproot Wizards? Some hate how simple the art is. It appeals to. People are talking about.
Well, listen, Boo. What do you think? Like, how does this affect NodeMonks?
How does the puppets affect
Yeah,
NodeMonkeys?
does this affect NodeMonks at all?
Pepe's
Are they
to the
too?
moon.
I
yeah,
mean,
they
okay,
too
so
close?
so the NodeMonkeys 4 right now, I think when I checked this morning, it was actually like 0.15, so it dipped. Puppets also dipped though. I don't think that puppets directly affect the NodeMonkeys floor, because I feel like if you could buy a NodeMonke, then you have also the money to buy a puppet.
Puppet, yeah.
And like you would like both of them. I think that NodeMonkeys has like its own crowd. Like people who are like, oh, I think these are gonna be the CryptoPunks of Bitcoin. That's the crowd that like NodeMonkeys kind of like vultures for. And then you got the degen like schizo shit posters, which like puppets are perfect for. So I don't think puppets like affect the floor price at all.
Well,
I think it adds to the ecosystem.
They were
both
memeing
do.
it into oblivion, right? They were the main puppet account was like, I don't like how this is toxic towards NodeMonks. And then, like,
That shit was
and then
funny.
there was some shit though where they were like, wait, we actually do like it. Like let's. I don't really like the NPCs over at the NodeMonks. You know what I mean? It was kind of funny. It was going back and forth. But I mean, we also of course had this past week the NodeMonk drama.
The NodeMonke
The
drama.
NodeMonk drama.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it was the actual not just the. Well, what do you mean by the NodeMonke drama?
Well, I mean, there was a sort of, I guess, expose, right?
Yeah,
in some sense from CB Spears.
I would say it was fucking brave of CB Spears to just call out whatever
Should we give like alternate context? I feel like we should give like context from the start.
Yeah, let's
then,
do
like,
it.
You could like give your
So
take.
CB Spears had called out the founder of NodeMonks, Rock Toshi, for just abuse and back-channeled threats for over months at a time, and it's like bravo, and other people came out of the woodwork and confirmed, and people on the core team. Like Aaron and stuff like that. If I'm getting it right.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Dude.
So this was a very bold move, and very laudable praise for somebody to be that honest and have a lot of integrity to finally like. What's up? Congratulations! I'm in the middle of something, as you can see. Thanks, Grandma.
Wait, hold on. I want to for the sake
go
of
ahead,
the
Bill.
show. So it's actually like there's a lot of people who are like extremely pissed off because there's like two sides.
Yeah.
So it's like one is that like everything that was called out was alleged, and a lot of people are calling out like, oh, there's no receipts, there's no proof. And the other one is like what you're saying, like everyone calling that out.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely interesting. Because both people were nice to me, so it's definitely like I see this tweet, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's this aspect about the charity part of things? Like, weren't they supposed to like give some funds to charity or something like that? Like, that was some rumblings that I've seen.
Yeah, so they started out as a free mint.
Okay.
It's going to be a total free mint. And then they went to a sort of charity mint.
Okay.
And like you would pay for a certain amount of charity, and then you got spots to mint it. And then they moved to the sort of final form, which is a full Dutch auction, right? Which is what they went with and ended up being started at 0.21 and go down, I think, to 0.03.
Yeah.
And that's where, of course, where we landed, where all of them went for 0.03.
I think that there is like the project doesn't need a founder. CB Spears coming out with his expose and other people supporting that, and across the aisle, some people saying, well, they're still buying NodeMonks, and I don't think the project needs a founder.
I'm not selling. Okay, I'm not selling my NodeMonke.
Yeah,
I still like my digital.
I don't think anything's happening with charity at all. I think that's out the window.
Okay. Well, they did do something. I know we're going back on this again, but like they did do something for the initial auction, right? For that one-of-one that I believe Breesy ended up buying. I believe that went either all of it or the majority of it went to charity.
Got you.
And that was like 88,000 or so.
Okay.
So there was that, and there was proof of funds and all that sort of stuff. I don't know about the rest. We don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Sort of past that.
So the question is, are you buying any NodeMonks?
I'm not buying any NodeMonks.
Okay.
Are you buying puppets?
I'm hoping my Pepe bags go to the moon.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it. What do we have here next? NodeMonks drama. So yeah, we have that. Yeah, gotcha.
And then of course we just had.
Can we go back to this? Can we go back to this rare sats conversation that you guys were having?
Yeah, sure.
So like, as someone that is not fully invested into Ordinals or like dived fully deep into like what all these inscription data sats mean, everything like that. If someone is just coming into the space to mint something as if they were minting something on ETH or on Sol or any of these other blockchains because they just like the project, what would you say like what would kind of like the differences be in terms of like searching for projects that have these particular like sats and inscriptions versus just going for projects that you just like the art of or like the founder of or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, do those things matter more on Bitcoin than anywhere else?
I mean, I think they do. I think that
100.
what you want to look for, I think, in maybe some of the projects that are just there for the art, you'll see it, I think, of course, in the art, how they inscribe it, how they maybe tell the story. And then I think you have that rare sats sort of part of the question where you've seen a lot of projects like lean too heavily into rare sats where it's like they have some maybe okay art and they're like, fuck it, we're just going to put it on a block 78. And it's like there's no meaning behind that. There's no sort of like extra connection. But that's, I think, what those things can really be used for. Like if you search for specific sats, maybe it's like block 66 that of course the Shadowhats just did. Maybe it's like block 9 and your art has something to do with Satoshi. Like then I think that makes sense. But I think if your value prop is just like, oh, we have uncommons, you better buy it or it's going to be worth more. It's just, it's not the right sort of selling proposition.
Yeah.
I think people can use it in a really interesting, way, further the story of the art, their collection, etc. But others are just sort of using it to grift, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think people are watching, and what they're watching for is like your intent, and that becomes clear when you have this menu of you have your rare sats, and then you have your choice of type of art, whether it's generative or one of one, or like PFP project, and like what's the narrative with the team and what are they doing? It just seems like there's a lot of real intent here, mostly on Bitcoin Ordinals, than you would see otherwise on any other chain.
Yeah. I think that moves us to the sort of Shadowhats with what they did on their sats.
Yeah, the founder just walked in and disturbed my monologue as I was talking about CB Spears. Sorry, CB. I mean, can you believe this guy? He has a successful day. But yeah, the Shadowhats.
Does that mean we all get one?
I don't know. Where is he now? Where is Bear Snake? Snake's on a plane.
I know.
So the Shadowhats minted today. It was an auction. That comes from the project Forgotten Runes by Bear Snake and Dota, and they inscribed 10 one-of-ones in the sub 1K, and then they have 666 Shadowhats, and 600 were up for auction today, and you could bid up to 0.2, which was a goated bid. They called it the goated bid, and it was an ascending bid where everybody pays the same. But fortunate for them, they they minted out, or the final resting price was 0.2. So
Dude, they minted out in like 12 fucking minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like everyone said, actually they got overpaid. I think stock was only 600. Like I think around like 650 or like nearly 700 people sent 0.2 off RIP.
Yep.
Okay,
So that was fucking crazy.
Okay, so two things here. One thing is that I think it's fucking clever marketing, power of suggestion, because I'm sitting there going, I want to bid 0.2. I just want to bid. I want to be called goated. I want to feel goated. I got to go here to record this today.
Goated was a goated
and
term
so
to
like
use.
0.2, whatever. And I didn't do it, and it's fine. I just decided not to do it. I did something lower. It's okay. Who cares? But the idea that I wanted to do it is I think that's why they did that.
FOMO.
And then what's my price prediction on this? I think because of the market, it might go below 0.2. It's not because I don't feel strongly about the project, because this Forgotten Runes from ETH, same founders, they are like the very few that have delivered and continued to deliver real products, real usable products.
And got you into Ordinals as well.
Got me into Ordinals. We said it last week when Bear Snake was on here, but I'm just saying because of the market this week in the past couple of days, it's just even with the ETF, things have gone down. I think it's going to rest below 0.2, but hopefully I'm surprised.
Gotcha.
Go ahead,
No.
BitGod.
So I think my take is a little bit different. I actually think it's going to do pretty well. I think it's going to be over 0.2 or so, or wherever the ending price was. Just because I don't think we've seen something like this before. And I think that what we've seen in the ordinal space so far is, these first is first, these sort of people that really get creative. You have CD Spheres and Cypher that are in love with this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, I think that, like, the whole Ordinals ecosystem really values people that are willing to go a little bit further, take that detail a little bit further, get into the ecosystem, and then, showcase what's really only possible here.
Oh,
so I think that it's going to do pretty well.
Well, see, when I'm live here and I'm fudding a project, I have an assistant buying for me as it plummets.
Of course.
Anyway, go ahead.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Boo.
What's your price?
Sorry.
What's your price prediction, buddy?
Price prediction? Let's see. It sold out at 0.2. Did it sell out at 0.2 because like whales wanted a chance at the sub 1K, or did everyone value them at 0.2?
My part.
About 0.2.
Yeah, I heard that it rested at 0.2.
I think that's secondary. I mean, like long term, I'm bullish as fuck. Shadowhats and the Forgotten Runes Wizard team
Me too.
are literally my favorite co-founder or my favorite founders in this entire crypto space.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking gems. I get a lot of inspiration from them. So long term, I think price goes up. But in the short term, I don't think anyone's getting like a quick win or like an easy flip. I think if anything, it stays around 0.2, or people list and dump because they just wanted a chance at the sub 1K.
Yeah, we'll see.
What are they going to do with the 60 that are left over? Who are those for?
Yeah, who are those going to be
do
for?
the math. There was only
66.
there was 60 held back.
The 60 is for their holders in like their OG community.
Oh, okay.
So if you got like a jelly donut from the OG collection, you get a shadow. There's like other requirements that got you a shadow as well.
Got you.
A couple little extra things.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess that covers those sort of shadow hats. We can move into a little bit of a technical discussion here. I know Boo wanted to talk a little bit about
DMT has finally got it indexed.
There we go.
Oh my, okay.
Let's talk about DMT.
What does that mean, Boo?
So DMT means digital matter theory, and it was a new protocol where essentially you are using Bitcoin data to back your token mints. It's like mining gold in a gold mine. Bitcoin is a gold mine. And it was around like 2-3 months ago that they like first minted out, but they just, and by they I mean Benny from Track, shout out my goat, just created an indexer for NAT, which is the Genesis token for DMT, and it is listed on Ordinals wallet. And the volume has been pretty like fucking good for the first day. There was like 0.5 Bitcoin sales if you got like 100 billion of it. So yeah, token's going good. Definitely interesting. I see like Twitter posts from people in China and like on their screen and like the Ordinal wallets page of them like trading DMT. So I think it's definitely an interesting protocol. As we know from like the history of how meta protocols on coins and tokens on Bitcoin work, the first coin always moons. So let's see if DMT either continues that trend or breaks it.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues it because I have that back.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'll have to go check. God, there's so much going on, man. Like if it's not,
I can't keep up.
I can't even. I don't even know what outside looks like, and I know I live in sunny Los Angeles. Sometimes, I'm like, it's crazy.
Cloudy all week.
You got the DMT, the this, and then as I'm driving over here, and then you got STX20 going on, and there's like a mint going on there. Then you have the BRC20 OmniSwap just dropped today, which is Bunzy's project, and Hike put that together. That's
It's
pretty
absolutely nuts.
yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing to have though. Like it's a great sort of thing to have when you have like this much innovation, this many things happening on one chain, and there's interest, right? Like there's interest in people doing these things. There's money, there's liquidity, there's demand. That's a really great, I guess, problem to have when you have like almost too much going on.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Obviously during the bear we had nothing going on.
No, we no, and
we were dead.
And I'm sure when
We're
there's
dead as fuck.
I'm sure that when the bear happens again,
Yes.
that we're going to be very busy with all the different coins that we're going to have, like on STX or
I know.
DMT and DVD and BBD.
I took DMT once and those elves bullied me.
Oh my
What'd she
gosh.
say?
No,
I
there's
was
someone in the
reading
chat that
Vegan's
said
comment,
they're on
'cause,
DMT right now.
So when you take DMT and you take like a certain dose, there's a very common like psychedelic trip that happens where you see these like entities called the machine elves. I just thought the comment was funny.
Yeah. I've yet to do DMT. But I just won't go down to the DMT because I hate the long lines. Listen, so do we want to get to?
Absolutely.
Do you even know what the
Bitcoin-
fuck I'm gonna
Yeah,
say? Absolutely. Whatever.
Bitcoin DeGods?
Yeah, what is going on with the BTC DeGods, Sonny?
Well, maybe like let's set it up, right? So,
Yeah.
so Sonny is the sort of now president, right, of I believe just the DeGods, right? Not the Utes.
Yeah,
right?
just DeGods.
Just the
Okay.
DeGods. Can you talk first about what that means, Sonny, right, to be that, and then what's sort of coming next for you in that sort of position?
Yeah, I mean, I think going into it, we iterated on the role a whole lot, obviously with Frank and with the team. And I think every day we're just kind of learning like what responsibilities are versus, what are things that we can kind of essentially delegate to contributors and that sort of thing. And what are the things that are really going to be priority and move the needle, right? I think that's the biggest thing that I've been focused on. And so most of what I've been doing has been things that surround content, communication with the community, rallying the community, and just having people around that are also continuing to push the brand and kind of be that face of the brand. Because I think when you have PFP collections, when you have these kind of collections that are a community and you want people to be a part of those community, you want to have representatives that are very front facing, that people can see and be like, oh, I want to get to know this person, or I want to be a part of this community because I like this person, or whatever the case may be. And I think we see a lot of that happen in this, in this ecosystem that we're in, just kind of overall. It's very, very personable, right? It's like people want to be a part of certain communities because of other people, or they want exposure because they really like this person, whatever the case is, even if they are really bullish on the tech and everything like that. So that's a lot of what just been focused on as like president, if you would, is really just a lot of these communication and content pieces.
Sweet.
And what are the holders like the DeGod holders on BTC versus like DeGod holders on the other chain? I don't want to get the other chain wrong because I don't know where they're at right now.
They're on they're on the east side.
Yeah.
No, baby.
I think, I had a good conversation with like the BTC DeGods as well. And I think there's like this aspect of like, all DeGods are DeGods, but like BTC DeGods do kind of have this different just feel to them, in the sense that I think, going back to the lore that you guys were talking about on the Bitcoin and the history, like obviously, when DeGods did it, they had this whole thing of like inscribing a whole block and like they all lived there. And like, I feel like that lore is a part of what makes BTC DeGods special. And what I was telling them is like really lean into this like aspect that you guys are this kind of like almost like this high-end club within the club, right? Where it's just like you guys are more about the art or the history and the kind of provenance that comes with being on Bitcoin. And I think there's an aspect of them just existing and participating more in the Ordinals ecosystem, and just representing Bitcoin DeGods in a much higher way, right? Like we see a bunch of DeGod PFPs, and to them I was just like, let's see some more Bitcoin DeGod PFPs. Let's see some more of you guys on the timeline active and loud within the community, and actually participating in the Ordinals ecosystem. And I think that goes a long way.
I love that. Is this your birthday today?
It is not my birthday today.
Come on, Bad Brothers.
Come on,
Don't
Bad
fucking
Brothers.
do that. Come on, man.
No, one thing.
Birthday.
One thing I'm always gonna respect about the Bitcoin DeGods is y'all got a fucking block, bro.
Yeah.
Like it will never be possible to get a
Legendary,
block
man.
like that on Bitcoin again. I think.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I just
Maybe
like.
maybe not. I don't know.
I think that's one of those things where when people talk about like what has DeGods done, what has they built, like all this sort of stuff, like that's all fine and cool, but I think there's times where DeGods kind of catch some of these maybe trends first or see the vision much early on. And for those that maybe don't know, like Frank has always been like this Bitcoin maxi, right? Like even early on in the DeGods project, like Bitcoin was a part of the lore because he would wear this Bitcoin mask when he would go like.
He's a Michael Saylor fan, right?
Yeah, like he's like just always been a Bitcoin maxi, and even when the Dust SPL token came out, a lot of the tokenomics were based off of Bitcoin. Like it can only be mined. There's not going to be any airdrops or pre-sale or anything like that. And there's a limited supply. And I think because of that, when the opportunity presented itself, they just like mobilized of like, yo, how do we figure this out of putting these DeGods on Bitcoin? Because this is going to be the thing. Like this is going to be that like next whatever. And it's like at the time, people were probably like, what the fuck are they doing? But now it's looking, even better than ever.
All right, 2 questions. Is there a Utes president? And also, when Utes on Bitcoin? Is that
when Utes on Bitcoin?
There is a Utes president, yes, and
they got a smaller house. Is it like yours, the
Nah.
White House? And they have like they got like the dog house. Is it painted different? No,
nah,
I'm
they're
kidding.
doing their thing over there. They're
Wait, who
doing
is it?
some bullish stuff. So there's a guy, he goes by Dakashi,
cool.
and then another one that goes by Pick. So because it's co-presidents, and my co-president, his name is Justin.
Good. I think it's good to have co-presidents because
yeah.
it's like, man, it's a lot of heat on one person.
Yep.
I think also like the way that we're focused on things too, it's like focusing on Discord and focusing on like public like perception, Twitter content, like that sort of thing. It's a lot, right? And so being able to split that up definitely helps. Yep. But as far as going back to Utes on Bitcoin, I mean, I will say this, like every DeGod has a Ute associated with it, right? So the 535 Utes that are associated with the 535 Bitcoin DeGods, they might have to go somewhere.
Oh shit!
That's
you heard it
really
here.
all I can say.
You heard it.
All right,
That's
Utes
they
are
might.
minting
They
on
might.
the
I don't
Say
know.
chain.
Yeah,
we
right
heard
now-
it
They
here.
might have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sonny, like some of the things obviously we've seen across the timeline, like everyone's like, oh shoot, like DeGods are going to Aptos or Sui, like they're going to Injective next week or something like that. Like it's obviously been a joke, but like what about all of the DeGods, like all of the Utes just coming to Bitcoin? Like what's I don't know. It's just like an
Expensive.
interest. Like OCM obviously just did that, right? They had their huge migration.
Okay.
I know it's obviously expensive, but I don't know, like having everyone on the daddy chain, like it might be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't
Daddy
know.
God.
Yeah,
I think
might be
it's a good
something that
play, to
takes
be honest.
I feel like if we announce another bridge after another bridge, I don't know
This
how
will be
it's
the-
going to go.
This is
but
the final ridge.
This'll
This
be-
is
final,
the
just
Golden State
straight to
Bridge.
Bitcoin with it, and that's it.
Literally, it'll die on Ordinals.
It'll
right?
just
Ordinals
be
are dead.
one last bridge, and it'll be the
And you
bridge
guys-
to the yellow bit road.
Yep.
It'll just be like one final,
Yeah.
but it would be expensive.
I do kind of like this aspect though of having
Utes on set. So Bad Brothers with the birthday and the
the people that are on Bitcoin, like that smaller kind of community, that 535. I do feel like that's kind of dope in the lore of itself of kind of having this like small tight knit Bitcoin community within the entire ecosystem. Like I don't know, kind of bullish.
It definitely is bullish.
yeah. What do we got?
Well, I mean, with that as well, like, what are you thinking for the near future? That I guess Bitcoin DeGods, like DeGods on ETH, like, is there anything that you guys are looking forward to in the future on ETH, like for NFTs that you guys are excited about? Like, you guys have maybe some events coming up. What are you guys sort of looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an aspect of just trying to do way more activations this year, and I think that includes a bunch of things, right? Like you have events, you have online events, smaller partnerships that we can do with other people in the space, and I think the biggest thing is just like wanting to keep this kind of this aspect of momentum going, and really just like every week something's coming from DeGods, or just like there's always something going on for people outside the ecosystem to pay attention to, people inside the ecosystem to be excited about. And there's just the overall aspect of like kind of bringing the vibes back. I feel like that's been the kind of the overall consensus. And I think that's you know, it kind of comes from the, you know, going from the bear market to the bull market. You know, people start to, once they start making money a little bit, it's like, oh, okay, you know, might have a smile on my face, a little excited. But I think aside from just like market conditions, we always want to keep that where it's like, you know, whether we're at this floor price or like 10x the floor price, is like, are the vibes the same? And do people genuinely
the vibes
want
would be
to
so good at 10x.
Yeah. Do people genuinely want to be a part of the community though, or are they just in it based off of that 10x pump?
Totally.
And I think we saw a lot of that this past year, where some people just like they sold and you would think that they were the most bullish and most convicted people in the space, and as soon as like, you know, DeGods hit a bump in the road, it was like, oh yeah, no, sell, or fuck DeGods, or this or that. And it's kind of like, okay, so you weren't as convicted, or you weren't as bullish as like you were really tweeting or saying you were, right?
Can I ask you a controversial question?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Kook?
On who?
Kook?
Kook Capital? Kook Capital?
Yeah.
Man, that is controversial. Damn.
I don't know. I mean, I remember having like whatever, some interactions way early on, DeGods wise. And yeah, I don't know. For me, like, I think with certain people in the space, or they're just like people in the space, I get this aspect of like shit posting. But there's certain things that are just kind of like zero tolerance for me when I see certain, like, I don't know, like the way certain things are being said, or just like, I don't feel like you'd have this energy in person, or like that type of stuff. That just like, I kind of just separate myself from that. So that's all I'll really say on it.
Valid. Sorry, it just came over my head. I was
but
like,
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, to me, it's just like you have those people in the space. I just personally separate myself from like things that I don't like, my energy doesn't match with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair.
What's the barometer of the, like, would you say like across the board in the Utes and DeGod community about how they feel about ordinals in general? Obviously, you can't deny the buzz. You can't deny like a year's worth of like, I'd say a couple of peaks and valleys, but definitely like you're now you drive by ordinals and you're rubbernecking because you can't believe, like, holy shit, there's like spaces going on about it. So I'm just curious, like what's the vibe, general vibe, and you know, what's the talk there?
I mean, I definitely, as far as like when it comes to Bitcoin and ordinals, I think because we have the BTC DeGods, and because we kind of have always had that Bitcoin lore a little bit, that people just kind of like naturally stay open-minded towards it. And I think just as a DeGod holder, in general, you're kind of open-minded at this point. If you fucking have moved from Solana to ETH and like have this, you kind of have just been able to have exposure to these various blockchains and like early technology, right? And so I remember even there was like a D Alpha Spaces that we did. And we literally, that was like when the Pepe's ordinal, where you could like build your own Pepe, it came out like while we were on the spaces.
Oh, the one that you minted?
Yeah,
that you inscribed?
And and so I was just on the spaces like, guys, I'm minting this Pepe ordinal right now. I don't know what's going on, but it's like, this is the Bitcoin price or whatever. And like, we were all just on the spaces like live inscribing these Pepes, and it was like, it was just a lot of fun. Like, it was, it was just a lot of fun. And so I think because of that, the open-mindedness just exists within the ecosystem. And I know for sure there's a lot of DeGod holders that are like messing around on ordinals, and they love like all these different projects that are going up. Like Hashlink's just, I think, fully minted out today, right? And I know a lot of DeGod holders, and even some people that are on the team have come from Utes or for DeGod's ecosystem. So
all right, well listen, man. We're gonna give some. You know, we got a few minutes left here, about 3 or 4 minutes. More than that, actually.
Yep, we're going to get some space predictions.
Space predictions in general.
Yep.
Like intergalactic space. No, just the general space predictions. What's your prognostications?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first.
Fuck does prognostication mean?
I think what you're going to see over these next couple of weeks is you're going to have maybe something like the Commoners, right? That's going to go live. It's going to be maybe the first 10K that's inscribed on Uncommon Sats, 10K PFP. And then I think what you're going to see is from there, every sort of other rare sat or sort of large rare sat that we know of will be inscribed upon with a 10K first is first mint, just like the Commoners, right? It's going to be a free mint, but it's going to be first is first. If you have block 78, if you have block 9, I think that's what you're going to see. So maybe that affects rare sat bags. That'll be great. I'm ready for that. Maybe it'll be really interesting for these new collections that are now on rare sats, that are the first ever 10K PFPs on that. Maybe they have a run. I'm a little bit skeptical of that in particular. I think like uncommons in the future could be really, really, really valuable. So we'll see. But that's what I think is my prediction over these next couple of weeks.
Are you talking about like the space, like 2024 in general? Let's talk.
No,
What's your prediction? What's your prediction on 2024 Bitcoin ETF just approved, start of the year, happening, coming in 4 months?
I mean, 2024, my prediction's in. So if we're not doing short term, long term.
No. Let's do a space prediction for the entire year.
I mean, I'm just gonna say that I think we got a few more liquidations and up only. Honestly, I think that's what we're gonna. I think Bitcoin 100+ K, new all-time highs, sort of record inflows into ETF and BlackRock and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's my predictions for 2024.
Troy, what's your
Just
prediction?
I think there's going to be a lot. Okay, so there's scarcity with the rare sats and how people are going to be doing more projects on that. So those will be depleting. So get them while supplies last, or just store the ones that you have and hoard them like a miser. That's totally fine. I think you're going to see a lot of other products, kind of like swaps and people where they can maximize their Bitcoin other than just buying art and other projects to maximize it that way. And I think that there are going to be a couple more peaks and valleys. And I think there's going to be definitely heavy regulation coming in. But I think that I just think that I'm going to hold the stuff that I have and try to sell out of the things that I don't really need anymore.
Awesome.
And just stay with the founders that I know that are going to be here for like 5-10 years.
Right.
Yeah, including myself. I bet on myself.
I love it.
Should.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill.
I think that Runes is gonna print a fuck ton of millionaires, and after the happening, we're getting a fat super cycle in Ordinals. That's my hope. That's my dreams and desires. And don't let Gary Gensler eat your ass and take your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sonny? What do you think?
I definitely think it's a breakout year for Ordinals. I think the experience for people to mint things and scribe things, I think that's just gonna get better with the tech and as the space builds out. And I don't think the best PFP project has minted yet on Ordinals.
Oh, wow.
You're right.
Okay.
Because Bootalion is minting January 24th.
Hey.
That's when it's coming out. Thank you, Sonny, for the layup.
Yeah. Gary Gensler eats ass like Luke eats cats.
Yo.
Yeah. So
That is-
with that said. With that said, dude, Sonny, I know it's not your birthday, but I'm sure it's coming up
Happy
or it just
birthday.
passed. Happy birthday to you, and whatever. Thank you, Bad Brothers, for causing chaos in the chat, and for everybody that
thank you,
joined
Bad
us here.
Brothers.
Thanks for Bear Snake over here, who just
Fucking congratulations, fucker.
Congratulations on your sellout or whatever. Yeah, get on, yeah, real fast. Let's get, yeah.
No, just right here.
No, on camera, you bastard. Here. Open. I love you. Open, right here, Love you, man. Congratulations.
Ordinals Are Dead.
Yeah, fucking Shadows! Woo!
Hey, so how do we get
God damn it.
4 out of the 60 shadow hats?
Yo, Sonny, thanks for joining us here, man.
Thank you.
Chad,
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
BitGod, grab it, yeah.
I got some stuff for you guys.
Oh,
Ordinals
shit.
Are
Should I give it on the camera?
Yo,
or-
not that.
Wait.
Not that. Wait. Not that DMT, baby. Not. Yo, shit.
Yeah,
that a
Butoshi got
medium?
it.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
It works.
Sonny gave us these.
Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you, Sonny.
I had to give y'all.
Yeah,
had to get you
baby.
guys right.
Little DeGods. Little DeGods. D
Represent.
testicles.
Ordinals.
Yeah,
There we go. All right,
Ordinals
end
to
it.
the moon. Thank you, man. Take care of yourselves. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week.